Gary Neville does not panic easily. He spent 13 years as Manchester United's right back under Sir Alex Ferguson. He's covered major tournaments as a pundit for over a decade. He has watched controversy after controversy at World Cups, Champions Leagues, and European Championships, without losing his composure on live television. But yesterday he lost it. Welcome to Storysphere, and what you're about to hear is more extraordinary than the headlines suggest. Working as a pundit for ITV during Qatar versus Switzerland at Levi's Stadium in San Francisco, Gary Neville said, "It is like a dictatorship." He said, "The idea of them keeping the footage and not showing it to the fans is ridiculous." Those are not words Gary Neville uses lightly. And they were directed at FIFA on a live broadcast during a World Cup that FIFA is hosting, about a decision that FIFA's own VAR system made, while FIFA, the host broadcaster of the tournament, was refusing to release the footage that would prove or disprove whether the most critical decision of the match was correct. Let's explain exactly what happened, because it's more extraordinary than the headlines suggest. In the 14th minute of Qatar versus Switzerland, Remo Freuler, the Swiss midfielder, ran onto Breel Embolo's headed pass inside the Qatari penalty area. Qatari goalkeeper Makboul Abu Nada came rushing out and took Freuler down. Penalty, clear contact, no argument. But the question wasn't the contact. It was whether Freuler was offside when Embolo headed the ball forward. From every broadcast angle available to ITV, to the viewers at home, and to the pundits in the studio, it looked like Freuler had his foot beyond the last Qatari defender at the moment the ball was played. It looked offside. Not marginally. Not in that way where you stare at a frozen image and still can't tell. Clearly, visibly, to multiple experienced football people watching on live television, Remo Freuler appeared to be in an offside position. VAR checked it. VAR confirmed the penalty. And then, the broadcast cut away, without showing the semi-automatic offside line. The 3D animation that audiences expect to see after every tight offside decision at a major tournament. The lines that prove the player was onside. The lines that are the entire point of using the technology. They weren't shown. Not a glitch in the animation. Not a brief delay. Simply, not shown. Mark Paugach, the ITV presenter, asked the question that every person watching was thinking. Why haven't we seen the semi-automatic offside line? Neville's response became the clip of the day. We all think it here. Everybody at home thinks it. FIFA is the host broadcaster and they have the semi-automatic decision that they can show us. There is a massive question over that because it is offside in my eyes until they prove me different. Why are we still not seeing conclusive evidence? Ian Wright was even more direct. With the semi-automatic line, why haven't we seen that? You know what? We actually don't even need to see it. We see it in the Premier League every week. He looks offside. I just can't understand it. They do what they want. They're sitting in the office. It's scandalous. Duncan Ferguson and Paugach were in visible agreement. And then FIFA issued a statement. They called it a brief technical outage. They said the onside animation graphic had failed to generate. They said the workflow of VAR was not affected. They said the lines used by VAR to check player positions did not show the attacking player to be in an offside position. Let's translate that statement. FIFA said, we checked it. Was fine. You just have to trust us and we can't show you the evidence because there was a technical problem. In an era where every World Cup decision is supposed to be transparent, where semi-automatic offside technology was introduced specifically to provide clear, verifiable proof that the technology made the right call, where the entire justification for VAR's existence at this level is the elimination of controversy through evidence. FIFA told the world to take their word for it. Neville's dictatorship word was precise, not an exaggeration. A description of a specific dynamic. The organization that controls the evidence, controls the technology, controls the broadcast, and chooses not to release the footage that would settle the question, while asking everyone to simply accept the outcome. Football has a word for that. It starts with T and it isn't transparency. Now stay with Storysphere, because Qatar versus Switzerland wasn't the only controversy from that same day. While Neville was going to air on ITV, a completely separate dispute was building in Foxborough, Massachusetts, that has generated equal fury in different corners of the football world. Haiti, Scotland, 1-0. The scoreline tells you almost nothing about what the match actually involved. Haiti, the country that hasn't played at a World Cup since 1974, whose fans cannot travel to watch them because the host country's travel restrictions lock them out, who qualified against enormous odds while their country remains in a state of ongoing crisis, played a game in which multiple decisions went against them in ways that are now being scrutinized across every football social media platform. John McGinn's deflected goal settled the match in the 28th minute. But the conversation afterwards was dominated by what wasn't given. The Fox Sports match data shows 2 Scotland yellow cards for serious foul play in the final minutes of the game. Curtis at 90+1. McLean at 90+5. Both for serious foul play in a 5-minute window of injury time. That is specific language. Serious foul play doesn't describe a clumsy challenge. It describes a tackle that endangered an opponent. McLean's challenge on Haiti's Kazim has become the central flashpoint. Spanish and Arabic language football media, which covers this tournament with specific attention to Caribbean and African football, have described it as studs first into the knee, opening a wound that required medical attention. The argument running across social media in multiple languages is that this challenge warranted a straight red card, not a yellow. That VAR, with its expanded powers at this tournament, specifically including the ability to review violent conduct, should have intervened. That it did not. 2 penalty claims for Haiti are also being discussed widely by people who watched the match carefully. Without the specific evidence of the semi-automated lines, which, given what happened in Qatar versus Switzerland on the same day, is now a particularly loaded observation, it is difficult to verify these claims with the certainty they deserve. What can be said with certainty is this. Haiti played the match. Haiti competed. Haiti had their best opportunities in the second half. Ruben Providence's cross to Wilson Isidore at 74 minutes almost produced an equalizer. Haiti's coach, Sébastien Migny, said his team was playing at an extremely high level. And in the closing minutes, 2 separate Scottish players were booked for serious foul play, while the challenge that multiple observers consider the most dangerous of the lot resulted only in a yellow card. Not a red. Haiti lost. They remain in search of their first World Cup point. And they remain unable to receive the support of their own fans in the stands, because the country hosting their matches has legally barred their supporters from entering. This is the context in which the VAR debates are playing out at the 2026 World Cup. Not just as questions about specific decisions, but as questions about who controls the evidence, who controls the broadcast, and who gets the benefit of the doubt. Here's where the historical comparison matters. Because VAR controversy at World Cups is not new. FIFA introduced the system at the 2018 World Cup in Russia. It produced controversy immediately. In 2022 in Qatar, there were 27 VAR interventions, more in the group stage alone than in the entire 2018 tournament. The system generated as many debates as it resolved. But what is different at the 2026 World Cup is specific and documented. FIFA's technical failure in the Qatar-Switzerland match, genuine or not, meant the organization withheld the transparency evidence at the precise moment it was needed. And Gary Neville, Ian Wright, Duncan Ferguson, and Mark Paugach, for experienced football broadcasters on live television, publicly described FIFA's behavior in terms that had never been used on that scale in a live broadcast during a World Cup. Dictatorship. Scandalous. They do what they want, sitting in the office. Those phrases don't appear in a broadcast when someone is mildly frustrated. They appear when experienced professionals feel they have witnessed something that genuinely cannot be explained by any innocent reading of events. FIFA has asked the world to trust their VAR system. Their statement about the Qatar-Switzerland match asked the world to trust that the lines would have confirmed the onside decision if they'd been displayed. Their silence on the Haiti McLean situation asks the world to trust that the yellow card was the appropriate response to a challenge that opened a wound on a player's knee. What the world is watching instead, in the same 24-hour window from 2 separate matches at the same tournament, is an organization that controls the evidence and appears reluctant to release it when the evidence is inconvenient. Neville put it best. It is offside in my eyes until they prove me different. They have not proved him different. And until they do, the question hangs over this tournament like a cloud that no press release can blow away. Here at Storysphere, we want to ask you not whether you think the penalty was right, you've already decided that, but this. Should FIFA be required to release the full VAR footage for every controversial decision at this tournament? Not their edited versions, not the angles they choose, all of it. Should transparency be mandatory? And on Haiti, does the combination of their fans being locked out, their players facing decisions that multiple observers consider suspicious, and their historic return after 50 years feel like a story football should be paying much more attention to?